In this video, I am designing a workshop level, and I wanted to make it so that you'd have two bridges and they fold up into two towers. So I started off by deciding the length that the starting roads would be. I started with a smaller one and then realized that it could be better bigger. Next, I added in all the static joints for where they would have to move to in order for the cars to get across. Then I added in platforms that would support cars and also make it look better and show that everything's being supported. And I added in joints in the middle of the platforms so that you could support it easier, and it makes sense that there are joints there anyway. I then designed the mechanism that would control just a quarter of the design because all of the other quadrants would work the same way. I connected all of the joints together so that they would rotate when one was pulled. When I ran it, I noticed that I made the yellow part not rotate around the right point and it ended up in the wrong spot, so I deleted that. After I deleted the yellow part, I rebuilt it and I connected everything back up, and when I ran it, it worked fine. Before I could copy this mechanism over to the other corners, I had to make sure everything was split joint so that I wouldn't lose what I had set everything to. After that, I copied and pasted it into all the spots it needed to go to. Because the bottom left and the top right both rotate clockwise, and the top left and the bottom right both rotate counterclockwise, I connected up their motions so that I'd only need to pull from 2 points and be able to have the full motion. I then set up 2 hydraulics to test out and make sure this worked. I had it working with 2 hydraulics, but I wanted to make it just have 1 because I like having 1 hydraulic challenges. At first I thought that I could just use an inverter to invert it from counterclockwise to clockwise, but then I realized that it would look really good symmetrically. But there was one problem, which was that I had never done symmetrical things before, and I needed to learn a linkage called a grasshopper linkage in order to do it properly. The grasshopper linkage is pretty simple, but I had never done it before, so I looked up a video on a grasshopper linkage, and I knew I was getting a great video when they had music like this. The video didn't really show the context I should use it, so I tried to kind of make it up, and after a bit of trying I realized that I was not going in the right track at all. So then I turned to Discord and asked Arglin to help me. And quickly he replied, and I used his design in order to make my own. And then I integrated this into my design. And it's worked. The next step of designing a workshop level is to actually put in all the cars and do the phases and such. I'm using compact cars because they're the best car and there's no other car as good as them. I started with just the bottom car to make sure that the braking force was good, because it's annoying to set up the braking force for every car separately. I wanted to set it initially and then just duplicate that car. And then I did the top car to make sure it was all set up right. And then I added in all the other cars, and I set up their flags and checkpoints. It turned out that the braking force wasn't amazing, so I had to go back and change it later though. I ended up getting it all working fine, and then there was only one last step, which was setting up the budget and materials to be correct. So now I'm just going to show you a few replays of the final version.